We live in the most connected era in human history. With a single tap on a glass screen, we can instantly transmit our thoughts to the other side of the planet. We have more platforms, more apps, and more devices for communication than any emperor or king could have dreamed of. Yet, a strange paradox defines our modern lives. We are drowning in information, but starving for connection. We sit at dinner tables surrounded by family and friends, only to exist together in silence, our faces illuminated by the cold blue glow of our individual phones. We confuse broadcasting on social media with actual conversation. We confuse debating in comment sections with actual understanding. We have forgotten the art of conversation. And in forgetting this art, we have lost something vital to the human soul. Because real conversation is not just a data transfer. It is a bridge between two isolated worlds. It is the alchemy that turns strangers into friends and conflicts into collaborations. A truly enjoyable and effective conversation is a rare jewel today. It is the difference between feeling drained after an interaction and feeling energized. So, how do we reclaim this lost art? How do we move past the superficial small talk and the ego-driven arguments to build something real? To find the answer, we don't need new technology. We need old wisdom. We need to travel back in time and sit at the feet of the masters of human connection, the four sages who understood the architecture of the human heart long before the internet. Socrates, Buddha, Confucius, and Jesus. Let us begin in the bustling marketplace of ancient Athens with Socrates. Socrates was, perhaps, the greatest conversationalist who ever lived. But here is his secret. He almost never stated his own opinions. He asked questions. In our modern world, we often enter a conversation like a gladiator entering an arena. Our goal is to win. To prove we are right. To impress the other person with our knowledge. We are waiting for our turn to speak, rehearsing our brilliant rebuttal while the other person is still talking. Socrates teaches us the power of intellectual humility. He famously claimed that he knew nothing. By adopting the stance of a student rather than a master, he transformed conversation from a battlefield into a collaborative excavation for truth. He called himself a midwife of ideas, helping others give birth to their own insights. The next time you are in a disagreement, try the Socratic shift. Instead of attacking the other person's statement with your own facts, ask a genuine question. Ask, what experiences led you to that conclusion? Or, how would that idea work in this specific situation? When you stop trying to win, you start to understand. An effective conversation is not about one person defeating the other. It is about both people leaving with a wider perspective than when they arrived. But even if we ask good questions, we often fail at the next step, truly hearing the answer. This brings us to the Bodhi tree and the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha taught the practice of right speech and implicitly right listening. The biggest obstacle to enjoyable conversation today is the monkey mind, our internal landscape that is constantly jumping from past regrets to future anxieties, checking notifications and judging everything it hears. How many times have you been talking to someone and you can see in their eyes that they have already left the building? They are physically present, but mentally absent. It feels disrespectful. It feels lonely. The Buddha invites us to bring the full weight of our presence into the conversation. This is deep listening. It means listening not just to the words, but to the silence between the words. Listening to the tone of voice, the posture, the unexpressed emotions. It means putting down the phone, making eye contact, and emptying your mind of your own agenda so you can receive theirs. When you listen to someone with total presence, you are giving them one of the rarest gifts a human can offer, the gift of being truly seen. So we have the questioning of Socrates and the presence of Buddha. Now we need structure and harmony. For this, we turn to Confucius in ancient China. Confucius understood that human interactions can easily become chaotic or awkward without certain guardrails. He emphasized lei, often translated as ritual, propriety, or good manners. In modern terms, we might call this social emotional intelligence. A conversation is a dance. If both people try to lead at the same time, they will step on each other's feet. If one person dominates the floor, the dance fails. Confucius teaches us to respect the dynamic of the relationship. It is knowing when to speak and when to yield. It is understanding that harmony is often more valuable than being brutally honest in a hurtful way. An enjoyable conversation requires this Confucian awareness. It's the social grace to say, "I've been talking too much, what do you think?" It's the respect to acknowledge someone's point fully before pivoting to your own. It's treating the other person with dignity, regardless of their status. Without this structure of respect, conversation quickly degenerates into noise. Finally, we look to the teachings of Jesus. If Socrates gives us the mind, Buddha the presence, and Confucius the structure, Jesus gives us the heart of conversation, love and empathy. Jesus rarely spoke in abstract theological terms. He spoke in stories, parables. He connected with people where they were fishermen, tax collectors, the marginalized. He spoke the truth, but he always wrapped it in love. In our polarized world, we have forgotten how to speak the truth in love. We either speak the truth harshly, which causes walls to go up, or we speak lovingly but avoid the hard truths, which is superficial. An effective conversation requires empathy, the ability to step into another person's skin and feel what they feel. When someone shares a struggle with you, the most powerful response is not usually advice. It is not saying, "Well, at least it's not as bad as." The most powerful response is often simply saying, "I can see how painful that is for you. I am here with you." When your words stem from a genuine desire for the other person's well-being, rather than a desire to control or impress them, the conversation changes on a cellular level. People can feel the difference between being analyzed and being cared for. So, how do we weave these ancient threads into our modern lives tomorrow morning? How do we execute this? First, adopt the Socratic curiosity. Enter every interaction assuming the other person knows something you don't. Make your goal understanding, not victory. Second, practice Buddhist presence. Before a conversation starts, take one deep breath. Commit to being here right now. Put the device away. Listen to understand, not to reply. Third, apply Confucian respect. Treat the conversation like a delicate dance. Be aware of the rhythm of taking turns. Validate the other person before you validate yourself. And fourth, infuse it with the empathy of Jesus. Speak from the heart. Use stories instead of lectures. Before you speak a difficult truth, ask yourself, am I saying this out of love or out of pride? A great conversation is not a performance. You don't need to be the smartest or funniest person in the room. You just need to be interested, present, respectful, and kind. If we can recommit to this art form, we won't just have better chats over coffee. We will have better relationships, better businesses, a better society. Because, ultimately, the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our conversations. Let's start having better ones.